Once upon a time in the deep blue sea, there was a mermaid who had a big problem. You see, our friend Coraline loved swimming around in the ocean, playing with her fish friends, helping out Papa Merman, tending to the coral reef, and most of all, sipping on her mama's delicious kelp smoothies. But there was one thing that Coraline couldn't get enough of, and that was land. Every day, she would stare up at the surface and dream about what it would be like to go exploring on dry land. She even made little mermaid sand castles on the ocean floor so she could pretend she was lounging on a beach. "I bet it's so much fun up there," she would sigh to her best friend, Finnegan the pufferfish. "You humans get to walk around on land and explore all sorts of amazing places." One day, while building another magnificent sandcastle, Coraline decided she just couldn't stand it anymore. She wanted to see what life was like above the water, so she did something crazy. She went up to Old Man Jenkins, the hermit crab who lived in a giant coconut under the pier, and she asked him if he knew any potion makers who could help a girl out. Old Man Jenkins knew just the guy, Grungle the eel. He lived in a cave made of human popsicle sticks and was rumored to be able to grant any wish in exchange for a small fee. Now, Coraline didn't have any money, but she did have something else that she could trade. So she took a big, deep breath, closed her eyes, and traded her beautiful, shimmering tail for a pair of legs. When she opened her eyes, she looked down, and they were just as she imagined they would be. They were long and lean and ended in tiny little feet. Only one teeny tiny problem, though. Coraline couldn't walk. At first, she thought it was because she was too heavy, so she took off one shoe and then the other. Nope. Then she tried taking a step forward, but her leg just bounced. It seemed like her legs worked like springs, and when she tried to hop on one leg, she just boinged right back up in the air and landed flat on her face. "Great," she said, dusting herself off. "Now I can never explore dry land." Just then, Old Man Jenkins scuttled by and saw Coraline struggling to get around. "What's the matter, Coraline?" he asked. "Are you having second thoughts about your new legs?" "I can't do anything with them," she cried. "They're not useful at all. I might as well just be a mermaid again." Old Man Jenkins smiled. "Don't be so quick to give up, my dear. Maybe there's something you can do after all." He pointed his claw at her shoes. "Why don't you try putting these back on and hopping around a bit?" Coraline looked down at her shoes. They were a bit tight, but she managed to squeeze her feet inside. Then she took a deep breath and hopped. To her surprise, it felt pretty good. She hopped and skipped along the ocean floor, feeling lighter and happier than she had in a long time. "Hopping's even better than walking," she shouted to Old Man Jenkins. "Thanks, Mr. Jenkins." Suddenly, the ground began to shake beneath her feet, and the ocean around them started to churn. A giant jellyfish the size of a house floated past, blocking the sun. "Uh-oh," said Old Man Jenkins. "It looks like Jorgen's jellyfish army is attacking again. If they block the sun, the tides will be trapped, and our friends in the coral reef will be in big trouble." Coraline gasped. She knew she had to do something. "I'm not gonna lie, Mr. Jenkins," she said, "but hopping kinda takes a lot out of me. Is there any way we can speed things up?" "Well, there is," Old Man Jenkins said, pointing his claw toward the jellyfish blocking the sun. "If you were to hop on your tippy fair right into those jellyfish, it would clear away the clouds and save the day. But I'm afraid it's awfully dangerous." I know it's dangerous, Coraline said, but if it means saving my friends in the coral reef, I won't hesitate. And with that, Coraline took a running leap and boinged right up into the air. She soared high above the ocean like a bird riding a wave. She flew over the jellyfish army and tapped one of the giant jellyfish on the head with her shoe. The jellyfish swayed back and forth and suddenly stopped moving. Then the next one, and the one after that. Soon the entire jellyfish army was knocked out cold, and the sun shone through once again. The tides were flowing freely, and the fish in the coral reef were safe. Yay, shouted Coraline as she landed back down on the ocean floor. I can't believe I actually did it. Old Man Jenkins swam closer and said, You were amazing out there, Coraline. I think those jellyfish had a really good chance against the tides. But you came just in time. I never would have thought it, Coraline said, looking at her bouncing legs. But these aren't so bad after all. Suddenly, she heard a familiar voice call out, Coraline, where are you? I've been looking everywhere for you. It was her mom. She had come to check on her little girl and was probably wondering why she hadn't shown up to help make kelp smoothies that morning. Coraline looked down at her legs and back up at Old Man Jenkins. I have to go, she said, but thank you for the shoes, Mr. Jenkins, and for helping me become the world's greatest hopper. You're welcome, dear, said Old Man Jenkins. And always remember, it's not whether you walk, skip, or hop, but that you use your legs to help others. As Coraline swam away, she could hear her mom calling for her and knew she needed to hurry up and explain why she was out so late. She wasn't sure if she could ever be a great hopper, but one thing was for sure. She was going to give it a try. Hop, hop, bowing, as the sun set over the ocean, casting a warm glow over the water. Coraline finally arrived home. She snuck through the seaweed, avoiding the watchful eyes of her dad, who was still fuming about the broken kelp smoothie maker. Quickly, she took off her shoes and traded them for her tail, which sparkled like 1,000 stars. She swam up to her parents and gave them both a big hug. Oh, Coraline, her mother sighed, relieved to have her little girl back home. We were so worried when you didn't come to help make dinner. We thought maybe you'd gotten lost in the current. I am sorry, Mama, Coraline said, nuzzling her cheek. But I had so much fun hopping around today. It's such a great feeling to be on land. Her father crossed his arms and shook his head. I don't care if it's fun, Coraline. It's dangerous out there. I'll never let you go to land again. But Dad, Coraline whined, I promise I'll be careful. Her dad just turned away, still shaking his head. Coraline knew arguing wouldn't help, so she just nodded her head and smiled. Later that night, after everyone had gone to bed, Coraline slipped out of her bedroom window and down onto the rocks below. She put on her shoes, took a deep breath, and started practicing her hops. One day, Dad, you'll understand how much fun hopping is, she said to herself as she bounced away into the darkness. Thank you for coming along with us on this adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, little one. Good night.